Welcome to the System to Success show. On this show, we'll cover the best growth advice from top CEOs in North America and beyond. On each episode, your host, Jay Crutchfield, he's a former software engineer turned entrepreneur, created and maintained online marketing, online sales, and fulfillment systems for global brands. He offers non-traditional wisdom about business systems mastery, while his guests share the story of how they built their companies. Jay and his guests talk entrepreneurship, digital marketing, strategy, and business principles. But they also talk about what it means to be human with all the ups and downs, advances, and setbacks. And what he does is he takes his information and strategies that has helped catapult global brands and brings that to the small business owner to give them that advantage. Make sure to subscribe and follow for more of these business system mastery principles.
To today's episode of the System to Success show. I'm your host, Jay Crutchfield, and today we're going to talk about quickly onboarding new clients for success. Now, many of you may have been in corporate America or in corporate America, have some previous experience with corporate America, and even if you haven't, you've had some experience with getting onboarded with a company, organization, or even onboarding clients yourself, right? And so one time when I was doing some consulting work in corporate America, I got hired on to do some consulting, and me and the point of contact, we were walking through different processes, and I didn't know it at the time. But after, sitting there going through a checklist of different items, the point of contact was going on vacation in like less than a week. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do if this comes up, if that comes up? And so it left me in a state of not feeling so great about like what my next move was if certain things came up. Like, what's the process if I need assistance? Who should I reach out to? What should I do in case of certain things happening? So making sure that I knew the policies and procedures, right? And so they didn't have that. And so, I mean, how many of y'all out there have experienced something similar to that, right? It doesn't feel good when you don't know what to do next as far as being onboarded with the process. And so I've spent over $100,000 in courses, in coaching, masterminds. And I looked at that. I was like, man, then I looked at like LeBron and how he said that's 10% of what LeBron James says he invests in his body and his craft. And so I see he invests $1 million in that. And I'm like, okay, Brian, I'm working on that. Even with what I've invested, I've experienced like a number of like favorable onboarding processes and then some not so favorable, right? And so I remember even one time being onboarded and paying or investing in some in a coaching program and even in a mastermind, both of those times. And I'm like, okay, well, what's next steps? And they said they'll send out the agreement, and I'm waiting days. And so it's like, man, did leave me in such a good feeling, with that, especially after investing in the program. And then one time with the mastermind, it was a meeting with some of the group, and it just seemed like unorganized with not having an agenda. What's the next move? Where were we going? And so you don't want your clients feeling that way when they're coming on board. You want to have something in place so that they know specifically what it is that you want them to do, the next steps. Who do they need to contact in case something comes up? If you have some online training, how are they going to get access to it? Is it sent out? Do you have your team sending that out? How is that going to happen? And then what's the time frame in these items happening, right? And so when you have a fantastic onboarding process that's seamless for your clients and not just, kind of a clunky type of deal, you allow them to get the most out of your programs. And so what does that result in? It results in testimonials, right? When they have a great onboarding process. And I'm already thinking that you already have a fantastic offer for them so that you're going to get that testimonial. So how they actually show up the first time is going to be fantastic when they get onboarded, and then they'll be excited about the rest of the process. And what is that also going to do? It's also going to give you an opportunity to get referrals as well too. And so with that, wow, why do we want referrals too? Of course, we do the acquisition, outreach. We have paid advertisements. We have the organic content going out there. That referral is a warm introduction too. And so I wouldn't count 100% on the referrals, but that's a nice to have as well too. And so having them refer others to you, is fantastic for you on that sense, right? That's super fantastic for you on that side. And if you don't have a great onboarding process, they're not really going to recommend that. I mean, unless they just don't care about that part. But you want to pull out the red carpet for them. They want to know and be validated that they made a great decision. They made a great choice by participating in your program, right? And so looking at your onboarding process, you really want to ask yourself, once someone swipes their credit card, once they wired the money to you for your program, like what's the next step for them? What action do they take? You don't just want to leave them empty, wondering what's the next step, or saying, I'll just reach out to you in X amount of days. You want to actually give them something so they have something tangible, something in their inbox, something that they have to actually do, because they're fired up, right? They're excited about it. And so we want to make sure that they complete the program and get moving. And so while that excitement is high, we give them something to do in the process that leads them to getting that result, right? And so when are they going to receive that email? What's their next step? What's the time frame, right, that they can expect? Are they going to receive a contract or agreement with expectations? Definitely recommend you have that. Are they going to receive a checklist on outlining what their journey is going to be? And then looking at it, is this whole entire process manual? Are you manually sending out these emails? Your team manually sending out these emails, contacting them? Or, is this a whole manual process? Are they manually going to register for an onboarding call if that's part of your process? Or how much of it is automated, right? Is it 10%, 20%? Is most of it automated? With all of the tools that we have to integrate all of our softwares, it definitely is no excuse to not have many of these portions automated. With tools like Zapier, with Integromat, and so many others, you can automate pretty much anything as part of that process. Of course, there's human interaction on that side. For the things that systems can do that's repeatable, we definitely want to have systems take care of that. And so it's only really limited to just your imagination and your ability to really transform your process that your team is doing manually, or yourself if you're doing it manually, right? And so some of it is going to require some habit changing, but it's really going to simplify your process so that if you're doing it yourself, you can outsource it, or if a team member is doing it and you want them to move up into a new capacity, you have it documented and also automated so that the next person knows what to do, so that they're not waiting like I was in that corporate experience, waiting over a week, wondering when the person was going to come back, and not necessarily just that, but knowing what to do in case of something happening. Who's the support? Who's going to assist if things don't go necessarily the way that they're intended to go? All right. So highly encourage you to really map out and put down your process for your onboarding ahead of time. Yes, it's awesome. You got that new client and new clients coming in. Now we want to keep up that energy for them so that they're going to get that result. They're going to feel like they made a fantastic decision so that they can get those results. You can get those testimonials and they can refer more people to your business. All right. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this episode on the Systems to Success show. Make sure you go out and implement so that you can get those results for yourself and for your clients. All right. So look forward to seeing you on the next episode, and make sure to subscribe and follow for more. See you on the next episode.